Life is a journey, but most importantly, it's your journey and yours alone. We say it often, right? That life is a journey, but we almost say it like casually, but there's a lot of meaning behind it. When we stop and we actually like think about like our journey in life itself, what does it mean to us? Because the definition of our lives is unique to everyone else's. What we want to do with our lives, what we want to pursue with our through in our lives is different because we all go through different journeys. We all go through hardships, and we all go through different ups and downs, right? In order to get to our goals and to our to wherever we're trying to get at. For me, for example, I've been through different paths of life, career wise. Um, and then I realized that I like teaching, so I chose teaching as a career. And but before that, I was a personal trainer. Before that, I was an accountant. I was going through different paths in life, right? Until I eventually got to this point, and like as I said, like my life was going through different trajectories, right? Like I wasn't following a certain path for too long. I always decided to tread towards something else, and that's completely fine. Some people like to choose the straight line. They go to university, they get a degree in whatever field they want to get into, they go into their career and they're happy. And they just, that's what they want to do. They want to become an accountant. They go to school for accountancy and they become an accountant for the rest of their lives. Um, you know, and yeah, everyone's path is different. I know so many people that have switched careers in their lives, even up to the age of like at 50, 60, they're starting off, okay, I want to do skills trades. I want to become a plumber now. I want to become an electrician. It's not too late to change your career. And this is what we need to understand is that there is no deadline as to when you want to decide to change the trajectory of your life because every experience you've had in your life is a stepping stone towards something better. Okay? All your failures, all the different jobs that you've had, all the different part-time jobs, all the other things that you've been doing in your life, they are stepping stones. And even when they end, there is still you gain some sort of life experience. You do gain some sort of experience that you can take with you towards something better. You know, when you're working in sales, you learn how to communicate, and then you're switching to maybe skills trades, right? But you have no experience. But guess what? You know how to talk to people, right? Because you learn that skill through sales. So now you have communication, which is extremely important skill to have in any profession, right? So as I said, everyone goes through different paths and like they're all stepping stones. And there is no perfectly planned itinerary for your life. Everyone's itinerary changes, you know. Um Not everyone like goals and ambitions come true. They may have something that happens in their life where they have to step back or they didn't realize that this is what they wanted to do in life, so they change paths, which is kind of what happened to me, you know. Um But the thing is, the most beautiful thing about your journey is that it's unique and it's yours alone. And you can kind of think of your life as a journey as like trekking, going hiking. There could be a marked trail that's set out for you, right? The people who are preserve the national parks, they've created a set path for you. So you're following this set path, this set trail, and you're following the signs. But you also have the option of taking detours. You have the option of taking the hard route, or you have the option of by going up the mountain, or you can take the easy route by going around the mountain. But it's up to you to decide what you want to do, right? And remember that the hardest things in life will give you the most beautiful results. So if you decide to climb that mountain, you're going to get the most breathtaking views. And that's kind of like life itself. When you go through hardship, when you go through tough times, it doesn't last forever, but on the other side is something beautiful. And we all need to have this mentality into our head, right? That the pain will not last forever, that our journey may take some time. Just like Us going climbing on top of a mountain, the journey may take longer. It may take 2 or 3 hours, or even going around the mountain might take longer. But at least you are enjoying the journey. You're enjoying the challenge that is in front of you, and that's what matters the most. And sometimes you get lost, just like hiking. You may get lost. You may start to panic. You may start to gain anxiety. You may start to worry. What the hell's going on? But if you stay calm, it's similar to life too. You may feel lost, but guess what? If you're able to stay calm and if you're able to recollect yourself, eventually you'll be able to find your way. Eventually you'll be able to, as long as you don't panic. It's the same with life too. If you're constantly dreaded, you're anxious, you're worried, you're just complaining about the fact that you don't know what you want to do in life, I want you to accept that. That's fine. But don't stay in that zone for too long. You got to stay calm. You have to stay collected. And you have to realize that this uncomfortable feeling will not last forever. It won't. And it's interesting because from the moment we're born, we begin walking this path, right? That's been set up for us, right? Our parents have raised us to be a certain way. We may think and behave a certain way based off our environment. But guess what? As you get older, your environment may start to change. Now from that little middle school, elementary school that you were at, now you're going to go to a university. Now the environment totally changes, right? If you're living on residence on campus, the environment totally changes, right? You may be partying, you're experiencing all these things that you haven't really experienced before back in your hometown. You move from a countryside to a city. It's a completely different change. You may be moving a lot in your life. You may have moved a lot in your life with your family or by yourself. And the journey always changes, man. But you gotta also realize that, life is a journey, man. Life is a journey. We're always going through something. You know? It's the same thing with like taking psychedelics. I know this is a little bit off topic, but it's the same thing as if you take a psychedelic, you're going through a journey, as what they say, right? You go through a journey to your inner self, trying to find your awareness, trying to find out who you are. It's also the same thing with life. The whole point of life is a journey. Any act that you do, anything that you do in life, any decision that you make, it requires a certain process to get the results, right? The process in itself is a journey as well. You know, so yeah, man, it's interesting how life can have really great moments and how life can change and give you the moments that you may not like. But both of those things will not last forever. The good moments will not last forever, and the bad moments will not last forever. But I just realized that, man, like I am so looking forward to the future. Like before, I wasn't really like this. I was kind of dreading the future because I was so worried. But now I'm excited about what's gonna come. I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm excited about maybe what kind of people I may meet, what kind of scenery I may see. Like when I go for a drive or go for a walk, I may see like an interesting animal, or I may come across an interesting person. I may see a sunset. I may see the beautiful sky. You know, everyone's journey is different, man. You know, not everyone is looking at the exact same thing you're looking at. You know, you look one direction, maybe you're the only one looking in that direction, and you decide to walk that direction. you know, and some of the most beautiful moments happen when you don't plan shit. You know, a lot of us we plan things because we don't want to feel like we're wasting our time when we go to a certain place, or it gives us a sense of relief that we have a plan set in motion. But sometimes when you don't have a plan, that's kind of the best adventures that you'll have. And if you travel to another country and you don't really have you have a very vague itinerary plan for what you want to do, that's probably the best thing, because now you're gonna meet different people. You may meet the locals. The locals may take you to a local restaurant, or a place that not a lot of tourists go to, and that'll make your experience a whole lot better. It's the same thing with life as well. You know, when we don't plan too much, when we don't plan too much ahead. Now, I'm not saying don't plan at all. It's important to plan your future. It's important to plan something. But if you just keep maybe a lot of your, keep a bit of open-mindedness about things, about how things may turn out, or, and you don't have much expectation, you will feel, and something will happen to you that will just blow you away. You know, that's probably the best thing, because when we plan things, we expect certain results, but when we don't plan too much and we just go with the flow, sometimes the results, those results outweigh the things that we were trying to plan. You know, spontaneity, spontaneous results sometimes can lead to great things, right? And everyone's journey, going back to the topic, everyone's journey, man, will go through pain. You will go through heartbreak. You will go through failure. There will be days when you just feel so freaking tired and you feel like 100% shit. You feel lonely. You will feel lonely at a certain point in life. You will feel betrayed. You will feel manipulated. You will feel all of these things. You will experience all of these things in your life. But that is part of the journey. That is literally part of it. And that's what's going to make you stronger as an individual. It gives you mental resilience, because life would be boring if life was just if it was just easy. If everything was just laid out to us in a red carpet, life would just be too simple and too easy, and we wouldn't really appreciate life as much. But if there is struggle, if there is some sort of setbacks in your life, if there is some sort of, when you're at your lowest, when you're feeling all these things, then it's going to force you mentally to change. You're going to start becoming a more mature individual. You're going to start becoming aware, and you're going to become humble too, because now you know what it's like to be at the bottom. Now you know what it's like to be heartbroken. So now you may not ever hurt someone else again. Now you know what it feels like to be betrayed. So now you will not betray someone, because you know what it feels like. You don't want the other person to feel that way. You may have lost a loved one, and then after that, you really start to appreciate the people that are in your life, your friends, the family that's still alive. These things, sometimes losing can give you bigger wins. you know and that is the journey of life. There's nothing else to say about it. That is the journey of life. And thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.